Hey, what's up, Vox and Hops heads? I'm Matt, the vocalist of Cryptopsy, and you're listening to my podcast, Vox and Hops, where I sit down with fellow metal musicians and we talk about their lives, their music, and most importantly, craft beer. Here it is, week number 3 of the Heavy Montreal interviews. Today on the podcast is a guest who I have been hunting and trying to get from when I had my initial group of 10 interviews way back 1 year ago today. The great Erian, the vocalist of Despised Icon. So here it is. Check it out. Episode number 52 of Vox and Hops.
I warn you, what you are about to hear is very disturbing indeed.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Today I'm with Erian from Despised Icon and Obey the Brave. Today we are at Heavy Montreal.
What's going on, buddy? Good to see you.
I've been hunting you. When I launched this thing, you are one of the initial group of people that I sent this message out to that I wanted to interview you. And then I saw you were coming. I'm like, it's going to happen.
Good pronunciation on my last name, by the way. Thank you.
Good. Not everyone gets it, I'm sure. Yeah.
And yes, I do recall. You hit me up about a year ago already, right?
That's correct.
Before you went public with the podcast.
That's correct. You were.
And I was like, listen, I really want to do this, but I'm kind of a mess right now. I'm in 2 bands, as you know. And, I was just alternating between writing and recording 2 records simultaneously and, touring on top of that and some artist management also. So very little time to myself, but I'm happy to hang out with you right now. Definitely.
I love being in Montreal, having Heavy Montreal just being this pinnacle festival. I've played them all. You've played them all. I feel like it stacks right up there. How do you feel about that?
Dude, have you seen like the hospitality here, like the whole layout, logistics? Like you and I are quite lucky. We've done festivals around the world, and I'm not just saying that because I know people that book this, and we're in Montreal right now. It's literally one of the coolest festivals out there, and I'm very proud to be part of this year's edition. I don't even know how many times I've done it, but hopefully not the last.
Definitely not the last, no. I like that I can just crawl onto the metro and it just takes me home.
Oh, I drove my car, buddy.
Let's talk about what you got going on. You just finished a run with Obey the Brave.
Yes, last night.
Which is insane.
Last Friday. I got home last night. And here I am, exhausted, just hanging out with you right now.
I watched your set. Your vocals were... I think it's one of the best vocal performances I've seen from you.
Oh, wow. Thanks, man.
It sounds strong. What have you changed things? Are you...
Dude, the in-ears, those are a game changer for me. Do you rock in-ears? Or
I don't. We always talk about rocking in-ears, and then being Cryptopsy, we never actually do it.
Because I remember in 3 Mile Scream, your old band, you would do a lot of clean vocals.
That's correct.
I would not imagine myself because with my other project, Obey the Brave, I'm doing a lot of cleans now, and the in-ears have been quite helpful, just for screaming overall as well. I feel like I don't have to push as much, and it definitely had a repercussion on my vocals. I don't scream as loud as I used to anymore, and so I don't lose my voice anymore.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Great.
Have you gotten into warming up before you play? Take me in.
This one time, like, I don't know, 14 years ago, I watched a Melissa Cross video on YouTube, and I picked up a couple exercises. I don't know what they actually do, but I do them just to put me in that mental space, I feel like half of it is warming up, and the other half is just having that peace of mind that, I did something before my set so that I could better myself. So that's kind of my mindset. But I feel like now I'm more and more in tune with my body, with my voice, and I know how to push it properly. It comes with experience. You know the grind.
Absolutely. I use the Melissa Cross as well. I think it's just a matter of just waking up the muscles in the throat, getting you out of that like bunk air or van air.
But I do like 5 minutes before I set, and that's it. But like, do you give vocal lessons, by the way?
I dabbled in it, but I didn't take it anywhere.
Maybe you could point me in the right direction
for clean vocals.
For vocal classes, whether it's I can apply it to clean vocals or yelling. I
got a guy for you in Montreal. Absolutely,
I think that'd be beneficial. Yeah. My new challenge right now with Obey the Brave is alternating seamlessly between cleans and screaming.
It's hard.
Woo!
It's hard.
That's hard, man.
It's hard. It's like keeping the diaphragm in the right way.
Yes.
Not pushing and not going too hard.
So respect to Killswitch Engage and Poison the Well that got me into all that singing shit back in the day. They are very good at it, and I strive to be the same.
Vox&Hops is all about beer.
Yes.
I got a beer for you.
What do you got for me?
I got a. We got a.
Not too fancy.
No, I knew.
What is this?
A blonde ale.
Blonde ale.
Griffintown.
So what do we have here? Griffintown.
Yes, from Brasseur de Montreal, who graciously gave me some beers to share with my guests.
Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that.
Cheers.
Hold on.
So happy to be hanging out with you.
Cheers, buddy.
Yeah.
Let me try this. Not bad.
It's pretty smooth.
I like it. I remember telling you that I'm not actually that big of a beer drinker. I much prefer cannabis, and it's fully legal here in Canada, which is great.
So now you can talk about it.
I consume with moderation, but I back it. But yeah, like I was telling you, I'm not big into beer, but I do appreciate good beer. I did have a Coors banquet right before our set.
That was the secret. That's it. That's what you have to do every time now.
I do like Coors Light as well, and so people listening to this podcast right now are like, "Fuck this guy, that shit sucks."
A lot of people know this, but I think it's super interesting. You started off as a drummer.
Yes.
And had to transition to be a vocalist due to an injury or...
So I kind of overdid it. I'm very passionate. I love music. I've been touring for 21 years.
Unbelievable.
I've been doing this for my entire adult life. I started out as a drummer in the death metal scene, in the Quebec death metal scene.
I heard you were really good.
I was all right. I started out in a band called Hidden Pride. I was 17 years old.
With a Vox&Hops alumni, Philip.
Yes, Philip Ivanovic. Yes, he and I played together. My first death metal band. So how it came about, I met Phil at a party, at a CJEP party, and I was like, yo, I just saw Hidden Pride. You guys were sick. Why don't you guys play any more shows in Montreal? He's like, well, we just lost our drummer. And here I was, 17-year-old Alex, like, I play drums. Let me try out. So a couple of weeks later, the other guitar player, Francis Louis XVI, showed up to my grandmother's house.
So funny. So funny.
So I was 17.
I
he
love
was
it.
27 years old already. Long hair.
What was her face?
Everything. And then she was like, what is this? She was super supportive, super open-minded. And the rest is history. After that, I did Neuraxis for a couple of years. Stephen Henry, someone that's really important to me, kind of my uncle, brought me into the scene, showed me the ropes, and I don't know, man. I so at some point, as I said, I kind of overdid it. I was playing in 3 different bands. I was starting out with Despised Icon. I played drums on the first record. I was playing with Neuraxis. We had just released Truth Beyond, and I was in a local hardcore band called In Dying Days. We were part of the first wave of hardcore bands here in Montreal, and at some point I got tendonitis, and I just couldn't play drums anymore, and I had to take a long break, and I was like, music is my life. This is what I do. This is what I love. I need to figure out a way to keep playing music. And oddly enough, Mary, who was Despised Icon's second vocalist, she decided to leave the band to pursue other goals, and she had just gotten married and all that. So I was like, yo, boys, I want to stay in this band. I'm going to try and sing. And then we wrote and recorded Healing Process, Despised Icon's second record, and then sign a Century Media and Relapse that same year, and the rest is history. I've been touring ever since, full time. Yeah.
What was that? Do you remember your first show where you're not behind a kit?
Oh, it was so scary, man. Like I'm an introvert, you know. Like being a drummer back then, I was always hiding out, you know, in the back of the stage, behind the drum set and all that. And all of a sudden, I was like, oh no, now I have to actually have to say shit and interact with these people and make this enticing and encourage people to move and all that. And it was it got me out of my shell, definitely, and all that's a learning experience as well. And here I am, fluent in English now, and same for the rest of my boys. They could barely speak English when we started touring.
That's crazy. It's just by being around and having to do it.
School of life, man. Just touring America a bunch, for sure.
So cool. Your next tour, Despised next tour.
Yes.
I got to specify with
Despised Icon, yes.
Is so fucking cool. When I saw that, actually I knew it was being announced, so I heard pieces of it because I was touring with Ingested.
Yes.
And
the boys.
I was fucking excited.
You've toured with them quite a lot, right?
They're awesome.
I've been supporting that band for over a decade. I'm so happy that they're finally doing so well. So the lineup is Shadow of Intent, who just released a record.
So badass, that record.
My boy Anthony Barone on drums. He is a prodigy.
A machine.
He is so good. Oh my God. Who else? We got Ingested for sure. And then Kublai Khan, who are one of the crossover metalcore, hardcore bands that I love the most right now. And rounding out the bill, we got regionals. Everywhere.
A little death metal band called Suffocation.
So, yes. So actually, we just announced today that Suffocation are doing all of the Northeast dates.
Oh, that's awesome.
So
you didn't actually put out the dates yet. Okay.
Yeah, we couldn't announce some of the dates because of Heavy Montreal today.
Got it.
They're doing New York City,
fucking right,
Worcester, where else? TLA and Philly, and then ending the tour right here at home. We're doing Quebec City at L'Imperial, we're doing Montreal at Club Soda, and we're doing Toronto at Opera House. So that's the last week. We got very influential band for us, Defilement, to do the regionals in Texas on that tour.
Slam.
We got I Declare War, who are hopping on stage for the first time in years, playing Pacific Northwest with us. We got I Am doing a lot of the dates. Who else is on that tour? Angel Maker from Canada. They're doing all the Western Canadian dates. So I know. I picked every band.
I have no doubt.
I love a diverse bill. I love a bit of hardcore, a bit of death metal, a bit of deathcore, and that's always been my outlook. Variety. Back in the day, one of my favorite mini tours that we did was with you. It was Blind Witness, Local Heroes, Trapped Under Ice.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Acacia Strain. And motherfucking Cryptopsy, man. Am I allowed to swear?
You're allowed to say whatever the fuck you want.
Fuck.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, that was one of my favorite lineups ever. It was also one of the last shows ever at Medley, or the last metal show at Medley.
I think it was, actually, yeah.
And for me, just growing up in the scene, my first local show was actually at Medley. I went and saw Grimskunk. And so to be part of the last bands to ever play that venue, it was
especially with the metal history at the Medley.
Yeah, it was a big deal for me, man, definitely. So yes, we are touring. Despised Icon is touring North America this fall, September, October. Go on despisedicon.com, check out those dates, and come hang out.
You're like a wizard.
A wizard?
You're like a.
What do you mean?
In the business, I find you're just so smart. I feel like you've never fucked up.
Oh, I fuck up plenty, man, and we learn from all the good things that we do, but we learn even more from all the things that we screwed up,
What would be that one misstep, if you could take back one?
I don't know where to start, man. I don't want to reminisce on the bad stuff, but yes, I am very DIY. As I said, I've been doing this for my entire adult life. I mentioned Stephen Henry earlier, with whom I played in Neuraxis for a good 4 years, probably. And he was very involved in the scene and in the industry and doing, tape and CD trading and booking shows himself and all that. And that was sort of like an inspiration for me to do the same. And so when I finally started a band of my own, Despised Icon, I did it all. I still do it all. It's I feel like
you're a man of many hats.
Yeah, whether it's writing, whether it's art direction, everything that's visual, whether it's just coming up with these tour packages, everything, man. It's very, very, very involved, but I do know how to delegate. I am surrounded by people that I trust, a lot of friends. My bandmates help out as well. I don't take all the glory. When you do something right, people praise you for it, but when you screw up, you got to own up to it as well, and that's what metal and that's what this scene has taught me, and it's a very valuable lesson. You could apply that to everything, own it.
Cheers. Let's end it on that. Thank you so much.
Thanks, brother. Cheers. This beer is great. I appreciate that, man.
So much fun watching friends play on a big stage like that.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you so much. Hey, thank you so much for listening right to the end. I love chatting with Alex. He is, as I mentioned in the interview, I consider him one of the smartest and most organized and planned out artists from Montreal. He always seems to have a very clear business path in front of him, and he never seems to fail, as I mentioned in the interview. So I would love to speak to him again at greater lengths to dive into his whole business aspect, his management, and I'm looking forward to doing that in the next coming months. Just got to say a huge thanks and a huge shout out to all of you who pre-ordered the first Vox and Hops Enjoy Life Metal and Craft Beer t-shirt. I am excited to get them out to you, and once you get them, when you receive them, I want you guys to take some pictures, and then you tag Vox and Hops on that. You tag it on Instagram, on Facebook, whatever social media platform you use, and I'll be super stoked to share that on mine. I got to give a shout out to Marie-Mado Langlois from Brasseur de Montreal, because she hooked me up with all the craft beer that I got to drink with all of my guests at Heavy Montreal. And I greatly appreciated that, and I know that they did as well. So thank you, Marie-Mado. As always, if you have any questions, you have any comments, if you have any recommendations, if you would like to, mail me some beer that I could talk about on the podcast or share with future guests, please do so. Hit me up at matt@voxandhops.com. That's matt@voxhops.com. And I'd be super stoked to read all your emails. So hit me up. I hope you have a great week. I hope you have a great weekend. I hope you hang out with your loved ones. And most importantly, I hope you enjoy life, metal, and craft beer. Cheers, Vox and Hops heads.